ladies. How are we all this afternoon?
Great.
Oh, very, very good.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's get our session kicked off. And probably the most important thing for us to do is to allow our audience to know a little bit about each of you. So Andrea, I'm going to give you 45 seconds. 45 seconds to tell our audience all about Andrea.
Okay, well, I've been in the industry for 30 years. Originally started as a therapist, and then I got into management and then actually pre-openings, etc. And I've been with Mandarin Oriental Group for 18 years, and I head up all of their global operations and wellness aspects as well. So I'm the head of wellness pioneer projects for Mandarin Oriental as well.
Fantastic. Jane, 45 seconds.
My name is Jane. I'm the cluster director for W Hong Kong and the Ritz-Carlton Hong Kong, both under Marriott portfolio. And I'm also the SPA advisory board member for Marriott Asian Pacific, to basically supporting the pre-opening of the projects and also the operation performance. Nice to meet you, all of you.
Fantastic. And Lindsay, tell us.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today, and thanks for inviting me to be on the panel. My name is Lindsay Madden-Nadeau. I'm currently with AccorHotels, taking care of our global well-being with the luxury brands. So that includes brands like Raffles, Fairmont, Orient Express, M Gallery, and Movenpick. I spend about 50% of my day in new developments, design, technical services, new concepts, building new wellness. And then I spend about another 50% of the day with our brand leads, building the well-being programs. I've been in the industry for probably almost 21 years in total. And I'm really excited to be here with you all amongst so many fabulous women.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, ladies, for introducing yourself to the audience. So let's kick this off. Now, we're all very passionate women leaders in our industry, and we love what we do. And today we are going to arm the women of the future fitness business leaders. That's what we're here to do, to give them some fantastic resources, tools that they can take away and implement, not just in their business, but also in their personal life. So let's kick it off. Now, this is an open panel question to all three of you. Now, we currently have more women in the wellness industry as opposed to the fitness industry. Now, you three ladies know that I'm in the fitness industry, and you three ladies are in the wellness industry. So is it because the fitness industry is perceived as masculine? I would love to hear your feedback on why you think there are more women in leadership roles in the wellness industry as opposed to the fitness industry.
I think, if you don't mind me going first, I think the fact is, on the wellness industry, we have a lot of therapists, hands-on body work, that are generally predominantly ladies, although we are getting a lot more men in the industry, which is great. And also, if you're looking back on that, also with yoga instructors, etc., it's typically sort of more of a women's industry. Whereas on the fitness side, a lot of women like to be trained by personal trainers, male personal trainers. So I think gradually, through the years, people have just, more men have become leaders in the fitness and more women have become leaders in the spa and wellness world.
Fantastic. Jane, what are your thoughts on that?
For me, because I'm taking care of both spa and the fitness side, and sometimes I always joking that the two departments together, because we want a yin-yang balance. Because in spa, obviously, we do have more ladies, and in fitness, we have more gentlemen. I think one of the very important things, the perception, the society perception. For example, we do have a male therapist, but obviously, when the majority of the guests will prefer, female therapist. So in this way, for sure, that we when we recruit the teams, that you will consider the utilization and also the guest preference. While on the fitness wise, sometimes you need to because there's really have the physical strength for gentlemen, and we need to be honest with that way. And to make the workout more effective, sometimes I think gentlemen do have the advantages in that side. But when it comes to the leadership position, for example, managers or director, etc., because it more comes with the strategic thinking and business planning, etc., I do not think that we have like a big preference regarding the genders.
Lindsay, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, I think for this question, I would take off my corporate hat and I would put on my independent entrepreneur hat. And the way that I see it is that women are dominating the fitness. You know, you see them on Instagram, you see the way that they've been so agile in this time, they've adapted, they've got, you know, I've got really great fitness instructors that I'm following on Instagram, and they've got other classes online and they adapted really quickly. So I actually think in the fitness industry, maybe not so much, maybe they're not seen as leaders of big clubs, but their leadership's in their own right, in a sense that they are creating a name for themselves, they're putting themselves out there, they're entrepreneurial, they're agile, they're adapting to the market, and they're getting stuff out. So every time I get onto Instagram, I see it's dominated by a lot of female fitness people. So that would be my perspective on it.
That's great. So Lindsay, I know that you're very passionate about the question that I'm going to ask you about. What is the difference between male and female leadership qualities? And should women have male leadership qualities?
I try not to see things with a gender bias. And when we talk about male and female, or feminine and masculine qualities of leadership, again, similar to what Jane has mentioned in terms of yin and yang, it could be a yin and yang through whichever way we want to interpret that. But typically, you know, the male is a little more assertive, they're more confident, they're more logical in their thinking, where you see women bring some compassion to the table, a little more transparency, and a little bit more nurturing to that. I think it's really important, whether you're male or female, that you have, you know, what makes a really great leader is being able to bring a balance of that to the table. So for me, it's not so much about being a woman or being a man, but it's about this, you know, as what do great leaders bring to the table? And I think great leaders bring a mix of that, and that's what makes you know, leaders within our industry so fantastic at what they do.
All right, so you're talking about what they bring to the table. What are some of the things that you ladies have learned over the last decade in terms to create leaders within your organization? When we commonly hear bring it to the table, but what are we bringing to the table?
I think the point is in empowering women, you know, to really trust themselves as well, because women have as men do as well, but they have a very good sense of intuition, because that goes back to ancient times when we were always the gatherer and the male was the hunter, as it were. But we do have that ability once we tap into that intuition, and also the communicative aspect as well. We very much like to communicate, you know, maybe sometimes over communicate. But I think that, in a sense, from a leadership perspective, is very important for the teams. And that's one of the points that I think, again, open transparency in communications is key. And I understand also with a lot of the leaders and a lot of the ladies in the leadership roles have been in those positions. So say it's a therapist, they connect to the therapist because they were once a therapist before. So that, again, I think brings a different sort of ambience to that position, and obviously to the team that you're managing and leading forward.
Jane, I'd love to hear your feedback on this. How important is transparency as a leader?
Transparency, I think it's equals to like a fairness from my point of view, because for ladies leaders, sometimes they are very hesitations. Compared with the gentlemen, they are slightly lack of the confidence, because they think very comprehensively before they talk. They are very shy to express the opinions. So I think from the company or corporate point of view, it's very important when you implement every program, etc. We put the information very transparent, clear goals, and how you achieve the steps, everything. So we make sure that transparent can guarantee that the information and the process is fair to all the team members, and regardless of the gender and etc. So I think in that way we can moving ladies forward without to regardless your personality is shy and etc. The opportunity is there. We just need to evaluate per the capacity and capability. Yes.
All right, Lindsay, did you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, you know, I think transparency it breeds trust. I think it shows a certain authenticity within a person coming to the table, being transparent. I think it also shows confidence. So really great leaders want to be transparent of what's happening. And I think people on the other side of that, I know going through the situation that we just have, we have a fantastic CEO, and he was really transparent about everything. And that made it, whether it was good news or bad news, it made it realistic and it made it really easy to digest. We knew that it wasn't sugar-coated. We knew that it, that it was coming from, a place of honesty. So I think transparency is such a great value as a leader to bring to the table.
I totally agree. Transparency and accountability is all part of being a great leader. Now, today we're part of the Fit Summit, and it's a networking event, with like-minded people. So let's discuss women's networks. From your own experience being involved in networks, do you feel that we should be consolidating the network so we have less networks and more collaboration, or should we be setting up more networks so that women can find a network that suits them? What are your thoughts on networks, collaboration and consolidation? Because at the moment, I look everywhere and there's women's networks everywhere.
Yeah, I'll start off that if you don't mind. I think in order to find a women's network, you have to find one that's aligned with your own values and where you want to be and who you want to aspire to be like. So they always say that you should surround yourself with people, first of all, who are going to be there and support you, but also are aligned with things that you want in life. When you're choosing, I don't necessarily know that we need to continue to expand these networks. I think we need to definitely donate to them. People need to, if they want to be part of that network, I think you need to search for it. And there's a lot of different private members clubs. There's a lot of very inspiring women within the industry trying to create these groups. And so I would definitely encourage women to really reach out and align yourself with business networking groups, male or female, that are really going to help to inspire, to empower, to encourage you. And people that are really going to be there to support and cheer you on. That's really important.
Yeah, I agree with that. Andrea, if I can address this question to you, how important is mentoring?
Vitally important. I mean, throughout my life and throughout my business world, I've actually always had key mentors, and I think that helps you sort of take the conversation out of your head, which, again, we can sort of drive ourselves crazy with that, and then put that out and have somebody to see it from just a different point of view, and to help guide and mentor you. And again, I've had very different mentors in my life, some male, some female, and they're all quite different, but they do definitely they always come, the right mentor has always come at the right time for me. So I would say for women leaders who are wanting to build themselves is to really look for that mentor, and really get sort of clear on the vision of what they would like that mentor to provide them with. But I personally believe that there should be more sort of mentoring within the industry globally.
How do you find a great mentor, though? I mean, it's quite difficult. I mean, what do each of you look for when you've been seeking out a mentor? Jane?
I think in different stage, you need a different mentor. But I think there's one quality in common is that you need a positive one. For example, when I'm into an entry level, I want to develop my career. So I think if I have a very possible female leaders, for example, with accomplished, with a very good career accomplishments, that will be a big influence to me, encouraging me to enter into the industry, because he gonna show me where I can go, and and also sometimes then after a while, I may need mentors, because I might encounter some issues that may be that close for me to hesitation about my career path, and sometimes to get a balance between the life and the work, and I have this kind of issue. So maybe at that moment I'll need more, the mentors who maybe share the similar issues, but have a great work it out very well. So, and at this moment, and I think that this kind of mentoring gonna give me like a really inspiring, and will push me forward to do that. And so I think we need a different mentoring, different life stage.
Yeah, I agree with that. As you go through different stages of life, you do need different mentors in your life. Lindsay, have you ever had mentors throughout your career?
I have, and I mean, I love them and I welcome them. I welcome them with my friends in their personal life. I started with a female life coach, and I just saw Erica asked a question about life coaching, and it's literally, she really just steered me in the right direction. And when I was looking for one, I was really looking for one that I could feel comfortable with, because I think with life coaching, you're dipping into some very deeper spaces that are quite vulnerable. So you need to feel comfortable with that person. So I've had a life coach for a couple of years now, and she plants these little seeds for me, and I'm the type of person who goes home and does my homework. But she's been incredibly inspiring, and she's led me to a lot of new paths. This year I was lucky enough to have a corporate coach, Chantel from Great Insight, and she's been phenomenal. Just very open and receptive, supportive. I wouldn't be surprised if she's on the webinar. She joins my webinars and gives me really great feedback, and has been able, again, each time she comes to our sessions, and she might just give me one question and the penny drops, and I kind of have an opportunity to rethink it. And I think mentorship and coaching, whether it's life coaching, whether it's corporate coaching, whatever it happens to be, it enables us to be able to look within and to be able to adapt and to change even different behaviors that we have in our minds and how we respond to people, or how we interpret information coming from other people. So I can't say enough good things about female or male mentorship.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Let's shift the conversation slightly. Many women, and I speak to women every day, just like you ladies, many women feel that sometimes they're stuck in a certain role within their organization, but they feel that they're more talented than the role that they currently have. And they're really struggling to get over those obstacles. Now, the obstacles sometimes come from men, but as we all know, they can also come from women. So what are some of the tools or resources that you would pass on to women who know that they could do a better job in a different position in their company, but they feel like they've been put in this box and they're just not going to get out of it?
I would say, for any sort of new projects, I mean, we have various committees throughout the globe, and it's putting your hand up. It's being confident and saying, okay, could I help with that potential committee? If you're working for a big organization, and then you have a chance to showcase your skill sets, because what happens at times in our world, spa and wellness, we can start to be constrained to the spa and wellness. So really nobody really knows what we're doing, in a hotel organization, what goes on in the spa and wellness. So if you then come out of that area and maybe help on we call them PST, they're problem solving techniques to work on front office guest arrival experience, you get a chance to work with fellow colleagues and at the same time showcase your skill sets. And then, and then I would always say, be confident, put up your hand and say, I would like to take part of that. And also continue to broaden your skill sets, and really make sure that you get out there and look at various trainings, attending events, and learning more, constant learning.
Fantastic. Jane, what are some of the tools that you've implemented in building your brand when you've sort of come across these obstacles?
Sometimes, for the ladies, they are really, I just say that we want to create as many platform or like a summit or workshop, etc., as much as possible to actively involve them, engage these female leaders, and we can discuss about their issues, their etc. in a different scale. So we create a different opportunity for them to voice out their opinion in a more comfortable way. And I think then we can collect in those kind of feedbacks, because if we solve this problem, I believe we need to do it both internally and externally. When we collecting these issues, then we need to give the feedback to the corporate, for example. Then we can come up with a more transparent model and etc. Trying to tackle these issues so to make sure it's less and less. So this culture needs to build from both the property-wise and the corporate-wise to have a good communication path between them, so that we can encourage them to finally, open to express their opinions and to be confident to themselves.
Fantastic. Lindsay, I'd love to hear what you've got to say. Also, I can't hear Lindsay at the moment.
No, I can't either.
That's okay. That's okay.
You can hear me now? Sorry, I had my microphone on.
Okay, we can hear you now.
There we
I was
go.
wondering if you could just reframe the question for us, Mel, so that I can get back on track.
So what we were discussing was, what are some of the resources or tools that you would use when faced with obstacles? So you want to move up the corporate ladder in your business, but you feel that, no, they're just keeping you in this little square box and you're not going anywhere. What would Lindsay do?
What Lindsay has done is, and this was through the really great work with my life coaches and my corporate coaches, is it was this most simplest exercise in the world, and it was working on my values. And I remember it was one of the fundamental first exercises that my coach did with me. You know, I went and I said, I had some concerns about this, and I want to fix this, and I want to fix this, and she went straight to my values. And she says, you know, out of this list of 80, not excluding that 80 of them aren't important to you, but what are really your top 5? And I think as people, we think about values and we think, yeah, I know exactly what they are. But when you actually write them down, it was something different. It was fundamentally one of the strongest exercises I've ever done. I do it with a lot of my peers. I do it with my friends. And I feel like people have a much clearer idea of like, here's my values. This is the way I want to be living my life. Am I currently working for a company that supports those values? And are those values aligned with what I currently want from my life or from my future, from my relationships with people? So it seems like a really simple exercise, but it was fundamentally one of the greatest things that I've ever done. So much so that I could probably see myself moving into this space eventually at some time, because the work that I've done, I can see how much has changed and shifted me in the last 2 years. And I would love to be able to really work with people on that one-to-one basis. So I hope that answers the question. It's been really helpful for me.
It certainly does. And you would have heard, to our audience there, you would have heard that Lindsay in the near future would be interested in working with people one-on-one. So maybe if you're interested in working with Lindsay, you can get in touch with her. That would be absolutely fantastic. You could start a new career right here.
I'm still with Accor, okay?
So let's move forward a little bit. What's your advice to women who want to enhance their style and their brand? What's the best business advice you could give to a new woman who's just starting out, who's not quite sure what her style is, but she wants to be seen, she wants to be noticed, she wants to be different? Should she stay in this conservative box that we've had for decades? Or should she just go out there and wear the flashy red earrings wherever she wants? I would love to hear your feedback on this.
Well, I would love to give a bit of feedback, because my colleagues here in, sort of in the corporate office, I mean, as you can see, I'm dressed in something very, very bright, and I wear only bright colors. And I've had a lot of colleagues who say, oh, I can only wear black. You know, we should only keep black and conservative. I said, no, girls, you've got to get out there, get the color, bringing color into your life. And I think that's the point, is don't stay in that box, get out there and shine and be who you are. And again, that taps into the intuition, because you know that sparkle and that sort of energy that you bring will also bring other women out of their box as well and be able to sparkle and shine. So I would say, you know, don't go within the limits, get out and wear those red earrings and sparkle.
Love it. Jane, tell me, what do you think?
I think I really want to laugh at that point, because you know currently I'm in charge of both W and Ritz-Carlton, right? These two properties have very, very different style. So sometimes it's very funny. I could one moment dress like Coco Chanel, the other moment I need to be like Madonna and etc. But what I'm saying is that I just want to, in the working environment, I want to just like reflect the branding features. So, and I think this is also very important so in the working environment, when the way that I talk and etc. and also the dress up, and people need to feel like, oh, this is which brand. So I think this is, but in the personal life, I'm very wild. I just comfortable comes first.
I love it. I love
Mel, I'd love to have the opportunity to answer that one.
Lindsay, what advice would you give to women?
Yeah, you know, I had a session a couple of weeks ago, and again, a really, really small thing that has fundamentally changed my approach. And my coach said to me, what does your life look like to give 1% more vulnerability? So if Lindsay brings 1% more vulnerability to the table, what does that look like? And you know what? At first I went, vulnerability, you know, like, oh gosh, can't expose myself, can't do that, because to be fair, within my environment, I've been conditioned like that for a very long time. And I just think within the world, we've been conditioned like that, not to show up vulnerability. And within a minute, I said, you know what, I can do this. This is achievable. 1% achievable. And I noticed in my day-to-day, whether it was through personal relationships, whether it was through professional relationships, whether it was the way that I wrote my emails, that 1%, just putting myself out there. Because I think that 1%, what I was personally afraid of was rejection, if somebody was going to say no or didn't like my idea. And I came to that realization that 1% was, okay, well, if they say no, they say no. If they say yes, they say yes, great. But that 1% was just exactly what I needed to kind of give me the nudge that I needed and the confidence that I needed to be able to move forward with just different things within work and personal space. So again, I hope that's something that people can tangibly use and bring to the table, because it's pretty simple to digest.
Yeah, I mean, I love to challenge the status quo. I don't have a problem with challenging the status quo. And I always say to club owners when I'm chatting to them on the phone, you know, put yourself out there, because if you can live with the worst possible scenario, why would you have a go? Be a little bit vulnerable, be a little bit more accountable. Just have a go, because I can't think of anything worse than getting to the end of your career, sitting back in the chair going, what if? I wish I had it. I think that's probably the most soul-destroying thing that you can do to yourself as an individual. We've got a great new era of women fitness business leaders coming through the industry. And for me, you know, I want to see more women go out and grab these young ladies and say, you know what, you've got some fantastic talent. I want to grab you by the hand and I want you to fill my shoes, because eventually, as we all know, we are going to leave the industry that we're in now. We're going to go and start another part of our lives. What's your message to other women in helping other women come through the ranks? How important is it for us to grab them by the hand and say, you are great at what you do, and I'm going to give you opportunity? Because I feel in some cases, sometimes women can become their own worst enemy, and we feel inferior to other women in our surroundings. So how important is it? Because this is our responsibility now to bring these women through the ranks.
I read an article recently. It's very funny. The recognition and encouragement for a lady from his mentors or friends or colleagues, and they will have a bigger influence on her than the traditional motivation, such as promotions, pay raise, and etc. So I think it's really important that we need really to praise each other a lot, you know, to really to boost the confidence. And for example, even for the female leadership, we should focusing on the strengths of the female leadership. Is not turn ourselves into like a men's leading style, because there's a reason that female leadership works very well as well. So just so I think the encouragement, recognition, and also lend the hands to them whenever they need, and it's very crucial for ladies to moving forward in her career.
Fantastic.
Well,
Andrea.
I agree actually with that, because I think, you know, as women, we can tend to get a little bit into the competition, particularly if it's a male leader and want to be, you know, sort of like, oh, okay, I'm the kind of putting my hand up. And I think the point is to work together, because women work well together and empowering one another. And then again, you know, like you said, Mel, is we are going to be moving out to the industry one day, and we want strong leaders below us. So sharing as much as we've learned again, and trying to empower the younger women to come up and have confidence, and then be really strong leaders also, and be able to take on those roles. And I think that's a point as women in this industry, is to look at how can I support that other woman, or, you know, somebody that you're working with, how can I really support that other woman and really help to boost each other's confidence, as opposed to sometimes can go against one another, which is not really what women are all about. So there's such a strong power of women together, and I think that that's something we need to build much more on as well.
Lindsay, I'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really about surrounding yourself with empowering women, because the difference that I've seen when I've shifted some of my groups is that empowering women they support one another, and they believe in what you do, and those are the people that you need in order to succeed. So success looks different to everybody, right? And it's important to surround yourself with people who are authentic and who are successful, but in their own way. So, you know, ensure that you're clicking in with the right network groups. Again, I go back to the values, make sure that there's an alignment of values there. And just continue to encourage people outside of their comfort zones. I think a lot of people, I know I had some of my colleagues during this time come to me and saying, you know, even some therapists coming to me saying, oh, I don't know if this is what I want to do. I don't know if I want to get back into therapy. And I said, well, then, you know, here's the values exercise. Start it out, see how it goes. And you might start to realize that this is the perfect opportunity for you to make that shift. So I always encourage women to look outside, you know, they sit inside a very safe space, and encourage them to really, you know, take the courage to step outside of those boundaries and to go into a space that maybe you're a little bit more passionate about. So right now is the perfect opportunity. I know a lot of us are getting back to work, but it's still a great opportunity, and it's never too late to go back and really understand what it is that excites you on a day-to-day basis, and really step outside of that comfort zone.
Cool. So let me ask you this then. We're feeling empowered. How do we go out and we say to the person that we work for, I want to receive the same pay as my male colleague? How do we bring that gap that is currently in a lot of industries, and we can learn a lot from other industries globally, but how do we bring that pay gap closer so that we as women are getting paid the same as men?
Show your value. Again, coming out and being able to show your value, because I think obviously it's the organization, and you know, you can also do your reviews and things and share with your HR teams as well. But I think, again, going out and making sure that they see your worth and your value, and not hiding, being out there and working on various things throughout the corporation, or throughout the business as well. So again, coming back to your value, so they see the value you add to the organization.
Wonderful. Jane?
For me, one of the way I think is very effective is I usually don't talk about feelings, but I talk based on numbers and facts. For example, if I need to ask him for opportunities, etc., I will collect all these achievements with a very solid numbers there, and etc. I will go to my direct supervisor or whoever, just share with me my very objective facts, and to get their feedback. If I want to receive the same treatment as another leaders, which I believe that he might have a better package than I did, for example, I will ask him what I can improve to do better. And I found in this way, and I also, you know, I can, so this logical talk and etc. sometimes I think it really works well. And in my personal experience, and I think to remove the, we cannot have the preset image that, because I didn't get it because I am a female or I'm a lady, etc. I don't let this kind of opinion really get into me. I just think from his perspective and just show him the facts, and have the guts to really voice my opinion, and to make it as subjective as possible. Yes.
Fantastic. Lindsay, I'd love to hear your feedback before I go to the last question for today's session.
Oh, my microphone's off. Good. You know what? I don't know that I have much to add to this. I could potentially be very naive to this within my workspace, but I don't see within our company that people are paid whether they're male or female. As Andrea said, you know, always bringing your value to the table and showing them, you know, your work. But maybe I've got an old traditional thought process, but I feel like, you know, our salaries are really built on years of experience, and you know, the way that people build their own personal brand and their reputation and things like that, you know, skill set, etc. But I haven't experienced within my own operation that yet, or maybe I'm just naive and I haven't actually paid attention to, because I'm just genuinely happy where I am. So
that's okay. That's fine. I've got before we go to Q&A, I've got a last question for each of you. And I'd love for the answer to be brief. So you're really going to have to think about this. What is the best piece of advice that a male or female has given you throughout your career that has made a difference?
I'll speak up.
Thank you.
One of my mentors said, don't compare yourself to other people.
Love it. Jane?
One mentor told me there are always more solutions than problems.
I love it. Fantastic. Andrea?
One mentor said to me, which actually comes back to what Lindsay was saying, get really clear on your vision.
The best advice I was ever given was by Thomas Plummer, and it was very, very obvious. Just be you. That's all you need to do, is just to be you. Now, we've had a fantastic conversation this afternoon. We've spoken about, gender equality, pay equality, about becoming leaders, getting involved with women's networks, grabbing a hold of a mentor. And we've spoken about lots and lots of things. And I know that if the audience wants to get in touch with the interview, ladies, you're more than open to having them get in touch with you. So that would be fantastic. So I'll just go to Sarah now. Just ask you, Sarah, do we have any Q&A to go to?
Guys, before I dive into the Q&A, we've got a couple of questions from the audience, but oh my God, what an amazing panel, guys. Like, I was glued in from the start. At the time we getting out of safe space, I took some points, actually, getting out of safe space, bright colors, going up the career ladder, and also relooking your values. I think everybody had something to contribute on these points that I suggest. That I've only one question from my side personally, and I'm also going to read one question from the Q&A because I want to be selfish and ask questions. So one question I'll take from the audience is they wanted to ask, what measures do you take in your businesses to eliminate discrimination or any inappropriate behavior towards your female employees? And what can we do as an industry to make sure that this number decreases worldwide? So basically discrimination against women employees, probably by women themselves or by the male counterparts.
I would love to go first on this, Sarah.
Yeah, go for it, Mel.
Sure, please go for it.
Women, you have a voice. You need to speak up and be accountable to what's going on.
Sorry, Mel, can you speak closer to the
That's
to the
okay.
computer? Yeah.
So women, you have a voice and you need to speak up. All right, you need to make those people that are making you feel uncomfortable accountable for their actions. If you don't do this, you can't be a role model. It's as simple as that. If you don't want your staff to be treated that way or your daughters to be treated that way, you need to speak up. You'll be surprised at how many people will support you the moment you stand up and say, this is not acceptable. I'm not tolerating it. Don't go there with me, because if you do, I'm going to make you accountable in a public space.
That's true. That's true. I agree with you. Maybe, Andrea, you can give your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say address it immediately. If there's any discrimination, don't let it fester. You address it immediately so that the person who is in that, position, that they know straight away. And if there, nothing comes out of that, then you have to take it to the next level. Yeah, and the next level and the next level. So, so that's, there's don't tolerate it at 100% because you don't need to. And like Mel said, you have to do as a leader, you have to make sure that you'll just think of it, if it's as nervous as you would be, that you're standing up for your fellow colleagues and the fellow women as well. So
that's true. How about you, Jane?
Actually, Marriott actually have a very strict and detailed protocols from both corporate-wise and property-wise. Like if you encounter anything you feel unfair or unprofessional or discrimination, etc. So there's a very detailed protocols there, who you're gonna reach to, and you're gonna be protected and etc. So as I said, we using very different protocols, want to make sure that there's a fairness and a transparency are there. So people will not be afraid to speak out. And once you raise this issue, it will be addressed immediately.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Lindsay?
Yeah, I mean, similar within Accor, we have a very strong code of ethics, which is anonymous, and it encourages people to, it's like whistleblowing, kind of calling people out on things that they don't feel comfortable necessarily bringing to the table right away. So I think a lot of organizations, if they don't have it, should create that network so that colleagues do feel that if something's happening inappropriately, that they have the confidence to be able to do it anonymously, and that they're not going to, it's not going to be held against them or lose their job or anything like that.
Okay, great. I think finally to wrap up, we've got about 3 minutes. The question that I wanted to ask each of you guys, like, well, I'm going to use Mel's technique now since we're running out of time, a 45 seconds rec on how do you guys feel. So we're going to compile it into 3 key points that you can advise to a millennial. So I'm going to go on the millennial side of things because I know Mel touched on the advice to new industry entrants. But for a millennial, what are the 3 key points, especially females, would you advise? It could be anything. Just summarize it to 3 points so that it's like an advice to people from the millennial group. Maybe we can start off with Lindsay. Now we start off from the end.
Okay. I think the millennials have been brought up in a different time than us, and they actually have more courage. From what I can see on social medias and just their behaviors, they're already putting themselves out there. So just continue to put yourself out there, continue to be inspiring. There's a lot of people who just, they have the courage to be able to do things that we maybe built some mental blocks in our head growing up. So just continue to get yourself out there. Join the right groups, and just continue to encourage women within your circles, because I think there's enough room for everybody out there, and when you support other people, you're going to get support back.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll get a quick view from Jane and Andrea and Mel.
For me, 3 words, and be creative and be bold. So you will speak up, but I think that's millennials' disadvantages. But the last thing is learn to see things from different perspective. So it will make your communication more persuasive, so you can moving things forward easily.
Okay. Andrea?
I would say one key point is put down your phone sometimes as well.
That's a golden rule.
Spend some time to connect with yourself, not always be connected online. And then the key thing, which I worry about, to be honest, with the millennials out there, is communication. So make sure, I would say a great course to do would be EQ, so really connecting with EQ, because then really connecting with people and the emotional side as well. So yes, that's good luck to you all.
How about Mel?
Get educated. Remember that perception is very, very powerful, and always remember to respect and to listen to those that have already walked the path that you plan to walk, because they are the best advisors that you will get.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. This was an amazing panel. Thank you so much. Before you guys go, this is one for the social media, because I'm a millennial. I need to grab your beautiful smile, so please do smile for me. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you, ladies. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
This panel. You guys can continue staying and logging in till 5:30. We have a closing keynote at 4:30. So I strongly encourage you guys to check out the expo, check out the networking. But yeah, thank you so much for everything, ladies. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.